Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram.
Need to find out. Can you please check in the calendar?
Hare Krishna,
I don't know.
Krishna,
Can you check, please?
Hare Ram Ram Ram.
अभी एकादशी से क्या मतलब?
No, I want to, because I don't believe almost आ रहा है ना?
Hare Ram Ram.
एकादशी 2-3 दिन पहले होगा.
Hare Krishna Krishna.
ये 3 दिन पहले एकादशी हुआ.
Hare Ram
No.
Ram.
फ्राइडे हुआ ना? लास्ट फ्राइडे.
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram.
भाई वरुद नहीं एकादशी हुआ ना?
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram.
16th हुआ. 16th वरुद.
Hare Krishna
वरुद नहीं एकादशी on 16th April.
Ram.
First May 1st.
Hare Krishna
May 1st को है एकादशी.
Hare Ram.
मोहिनी एकादशी.
वही.
क्या करने का? बोला. You ask me what you ask me, I have answered. You tell me. You tell me what you are going to do.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. What you are planning? What you are going to do?
I remember.
Huh?
I remember.
Remember, okay. Why?
What did?
Why you are thinking now? What is the idea?
I need to think.
अच्छा?
Hare
कभी नहीं है हैबिट. कल एकादशी भी आज भी नहीं.
Sometimes actually I get scared. Because someone I made a mistake. I don't know.
Intentional doesn't. Unintentional. Intentional is not. Unintentional doesn't matter. In the eyes of Krishna.
But now there is no mistake anymore because Krishna I have devotees around me. Devotees will be away. But वो मेरा डर हटा सकता है. तो मन टाइम होते ना. Okay.
Yes, this was correct. The next day we will.
वो मेरे को fear है. That's why I like to ask. Krishna the starting is slow, studying me on to you.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram.
Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nam
Hare Krishna
Gauravani Krishna Vishweshwar
Hare Ram
Vaswati Deshatam Jai Vishnu Chaitanya
Hare Krishna Krishna
Vaswati
Hare Ram
Gauravani
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram.
Radha Singh
Hare Krishna Krishna
Bhakti Ram
Hare Ram Ram.
Jai
Hare
Vishnu
Krishna
Chaitanya
Krishna
Gauravani
Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram 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 Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram.
Huh?
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Hare Ram Ram.
Tomorrow, ask your son to pick me. I have to go somewhere. My friend is coming to pick me.
Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram.
Hare Hare.
Krishna,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna,
Jai Shri
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram.
Oh,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Ram,
Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Ram.
Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Put it in the fridge.
Hare Ram, Ram.
Just put it in the fridge.
Lovely.
No.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram.
Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram.
Hare. Hare Ram, Ram.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram.
Huh?
Hare
Aviral.
Krishna,
Aviral.
Hare Ram, Ram. Hare
Shifting.
Krishna,
Shifting base.
Hare Ram, Ram.
From here to temple.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
More
Hare
and
Ram,
shifting.
Ram.
At any cost.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Yes,
Hare
you can
Ram,
see to me.
Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Bahut
Hare Ram, Ram.
bahut
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram.
Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram.
Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram.
Hare. Hare Ram, Ram.
Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna Krishna.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna,
हरे कृष्णा। चंद्रवल प्रभु, संयुक्त माता जी, संध्या माता जी, दीपा माता जी, ललित मोहन प्रभु, Suman Prabhu, Sapan Prabhu, Gaurav Prabhu, Akinchan Priya Prabhu, Lavanya, Dhanavad Pranams. All glory to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for waiting. Let us begin with Mangalacharana prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Jalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadeshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayati girim kripatam ham vande. Shri Gurum Dinatarinam, Paramananda Madhavam, Sri Chaitanya Mishwaram. Om Pavitra Pavitro va Sarva Vastangato Piva. Yasmare Pundari Paksham Sabhyabhyantaram Sujiti. Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu. Thank you so much again. So we are reading Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, chapter 2. Let me share my screen. Yes, chapter 2, entitled as Prabhupada's marriage, his childhood, youth, college, marriage, and Gandhi's movement. So let us read from this section. Yeah. Deepa Mataji, Hare Krishna, please start.
Hare Krishna Prabhupada now.
Dhanavad.
He walked along the same broad street where for thousands of years the Rath Yatra procession had passed. In the market shops displayed small carved and painted wooden murtis of Lord Jagannath. Although it was not Rath Yatra season, tourists were purchasing souvenirs, and in the temple they purchased Jagannath Prasadam. In the Jagannath temple, 56 gigantic offerings of cooked rice and vegetables were presented daily in worship before the deities of Jagannath, Balram and Subhadra. Abhay entered the temple and saw the deities. On a side altar stood the Murti of Lord Chaitanya in his six-armed form, manifesting himself simultaneously as Krishna, Rama and the sannyasi Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya was famous in Puri, where he had spent the last 18 years of his life conducting Hare Krishna Kirtana with his followers and dancing ecstatically at the yearly Rath Yatra as the carts were wheeled along the main road, surrounded by thousands of devotees. Lord Chaitanya had danced and swooned in the ecstasy of his intense love in separation from Lord Krishna. Passing over the parade route, Abhay recalled his own childhood pastimes, singing and dancing in the street, the miniature cart, the procession, Jagannath smiling, his father and mother, Radha Govinda. Somehow the fame of Lord Jagannath had inspired him as a child, and it had remained within him all these years. When shall I go to Jagannath Puri? His childhood dreaming of Puri and Vrindavan, and his compulsively studying the train tables, scheming since the age of 5 to travel here, were based on more than just a desire to tour Puri's marketplace, and he was not satisfied by once seeing the deity in the noisy, crowded temple. He had been impelled to come to Puri as a pilgrim, and his motive was his devotion to Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Samyukta Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Now nationalism was strongly influencing his life, and he had recently married and was facing the decisions of graduation and career. Yet here he was hardly more than a boy, walking alone in Puri, where Lord Chaitanya had lived and where Lord Krishna's Jagannatha still resided. Abhay relished his break from the pressure of duties in Calcutta. He didn't know the love he felt for Krishna and Krishna's pilgrimage place would fit into his life. He knew that Krishna was more important than anything else. He was God, the supreme controller, and everyone's inner guide. But there was so much token, superficial service to God. Even the nationalist speakers, although they carried the Gita on their person, were more intent on nationalism than on Krishna. Only those who were sincere devotees knew the importance and attraction of Krishna, people like his father. An odd incident occurred at Puri. Gaur Mohan had given Abhay a letter of introduction to an acquaintance who lived in Jagannath Puri. Abhay went to see him and was well received. When the man was offering him lunch, however, Abhay noticed a small lump within one of the cooking pots. He questioned his host, who replied, "Oh, it is meat." Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Read.
Yes, Prabhuji. Abhay was unable to restrain his shock. "No, what is this? I have never taken meat." Abhay looked at his host in astonishment. "I never expected this at Jagannath Puri." Ashamed, his host said, "I did not know. I thought this was the best." Abhay pacified the man, but he put his food aside and took no more meals there. After that, Abhay ate only the Jagannatha Prasadam from the temple. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So, Sandhya Mata is in hearing mode. Lavanya also is in hearing mode. Radhika Mata, Hare Krishna, would you like to read?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna,
Done.
please read.
Yeah. Abhay stayed in Puri for 3 or 4 days, wandering around the holy places and visiting the famous Puri seaside, with its sparkling beach and strongly pounding surf. Several times he recognized some of the priests from the Jagannath temple as they smoked cigarettes, and he heard of other unsavory activities of the sadhus connected with the temple. What kind of sadhus were these who ate fish with their Jagannath prasadam and smoked? In this respect, he found Jagannath Puri disappointing. When Abhay returned home, he found his young wife crying. Then he heard how her friends had told her, "Your husband is not coming back." He told her not to worry. There was no truth in the story. He had only gone for a few days and was now back. Although his marriage had only recently begun, Abhay was dissatisfied. Radharani Datta was an attractive young girl, but Abhay had never really liked her. He was thinking maybe a different wife would be better, a second wife besides this one. In India, it was socially acceptable to marry a second wife, so Abhay decided to take the matter into his own hands. He made arrangements to approach the parents of another girl, but when his father heard about it, he called Abhay and said, "My dear boy, you are eager to take a second wife, but I would advise you not to. It is Krishna's grace that your present wife is not to your liking. Take it as a great fortune. If you do not become too attached to your wife and family, that will help you in your future advancement in spiritual life." Abhay accepted his father's advice. He wanted to obey his father and he appreciated the saintly viewpoint, but he remained thoughtful, a bit awed by his father's forethought, and he wondered how one day in the future he would be advancing in spiritual life and be grateful that his father had done this. Your future advancement in spiritual life. Abhay liked the idea. He reconciled himself to the wife he had been given.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. This section also done. So now Prabhu's. Akinchan Priya Prabhu. Very.
Yeah.
Are you able to read, Prabhu?
Day's name was included on the posted list of the student who has passed the BA exam and who were invited to appear for the diploma. But Abhay has decided he didn't want a diploma from Scottish Churches. Scottish Churches College. Although as a graduate he would have a promising career, would be a British tainted career. If Gandhi succeeded, India would soon be rid of the British. Abhay had made his decision, and when the graduation day arrived, the college authorities learned of his rejecting his diploma. In this way, Abhay registered his protest and signaled his response to the Gandhi's call.
Continue, Prabhu.
Can I continue, Prabhu?
Yes, continue, please. Yeah, please read, Prabhu.
Yeah, Gandhi's protest had increased its pitch in recent months. During the war, Indians Indians had remained loyal to the crown in the hopes of generating British sympathy towards the cause of the independence. But in 1919, England has passed the Rowlatt Act to repress the move of Indian freedom. Gandhi had then called on all the Indians to observe the Hartal, a day in which people all over the country had stayed home from work and school in protest. Although had been a non-violent protest, 1 week later, in Amritsar, in the public square known as Jallianwala Bagh, British soldiers shot to death hundreds of unarmed, defenseless Indians who had gathered for peaceful meeting. Gandhi then lost all faith in the intentions of the empire towards India. Calling for complete non-cooperation, he ordered a boycott of everything British: commodities, schools, sports, military honors, and Abhay, in refusing his degree, was moving to align himself more closely with Gandhi's independence.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Sapan Prabhu, can you please read? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Sapan Prabhu is not there. Okay, he joined, I think, left. Anyway, Gaurav Prabhu, can you please read? Hare Krishna, Gaurav Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, yeah, please read.
But his heart was not in it. Just as he had never given his heart to college studies to earning a degree to his wife, so he was reserved about becoming a full-fledged nationalist. Abhay had become inclined toward the cause, but never really convinced. Now out of school, out of the work, caring little of his career, education, or wife, he remained at home. He tried his hand at writing poetry for the occasion of a friend's wedding. He read Srimad Bhagavatam and the latest speech of Gandhi. He had no immediate plans. Gaur Mohan had his plans for Abhay, and the college degree had been an integral part of those plans. But Krishna, it seemed, had other plans. The political protest of refusing the Bachelor's of Art degree and was more a mark of honor than a social stigma. And Gaur Mohan did not reproach his son for it. But Abhay still needed to take up some kind of work. Gaur Mohan approached his friend Karthik Bose and asked him to employ Abhay. Dr. Karthik Chandra Bose, an intimate friend, had been the family doctor since Abhay's childhood. He was a distinguished surgeon, a medical scholar, and a chemical industrialist. He had his own establishment, Bose Laboratory in Calcutta, where he manufactured drugs, soaps, and other products for the pharmaceuticals industry. Dr. Bose was well known throughout India, as well as first Indian to manufacture his pharmaceuticals preparations that had formerly been monopolized by European firms. He agreed to accept Abhay as a department manager at his laboratory. Although Abhay knew little of the pharmaceutical industry or of management, he felt confident that by reading a few related books, he could learn that he needed to know. But when his new young man was suddenly given the post of department manager, several workers became dissatisfied. Some of them were elderly and had been 40 years with the firm. They voiced their dissatisfaction amongst themselves and finally confronted Dr. Bose. Why had this young man been put in charge? Dr. Bose replied, "Oh, for the position, I needed someone I could trust like my own son. He is signing checks for 40,000 rupees. I could only entrust the person handling my accounts in that department to him. His father and I are very close, and this young man is known to me practically as son." Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah. Chandramal Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Gaur Mohan felt he had done his best. His prayer was the best principles of pure Vaishnavism. He had taught his son would stay with him and guide him throughout his life. Gandhi and the cause of Swaraj had disrupted Abhai's college career, and Abhai was still inclined towards nationalism, but not so much for a political motive as for a spiritual vision. So Gaur Mohan was content. He knew the marriage arrangement was not pleasing to Abhay, but Abhay had accepted his explanation that detachment from wife and family affairs would be good for spiritual advancement. And Abhay was showing inherent disinterest in materialistic affairs. This also did not displease Gaur Mohan, to whom business had always been subservient to his worship of Lord Krishna. He had explained this. Now Abhay had a promising job and would be making the best of his marriage. Gaur Mohan had done what he could, and he depended on Krishna for the ultimate result. Gandhi, bolstered by his emergence as a leader among the Congress party, now openly attacked the empire's exploitative cloth trade with India. England was purchasing raw cotton from India at the lowest prices, manufacturing it into cloth and in the Lancashire mills in England, and then selling the monopolized cloth at high prices to the Indian millions. Gandhi's propaganda was that India should return to making her own cloth using simple spinning wheels and handlooms, thus completely boycotting the British-made cloth and attacking an economic base of Britain's power over India. Traveling by train throughout the country, Gandhi repeatedly appealed to his countrymen to reject all foreign cloth and wear only the simple coarse khadi produced from India's own cottage industry. Before the British rule, India had spun and woven her own cloth. Gandhi argued that by breaking the cottage industries, the British were sinking the Indian masses into semi-starvation and lifelessness. To get the example, Gandhi himself worked daily at a primitive spinning wheel and wore only a simple coarse loin cloth and shawl. He would hold meetings and ask people to come forth and reject their imported cloth. On the spot, people would throw down heaps of cloth and he would set it ablaze. Gandhi's wife complained that the khadi was too thick and not convenient to wear while cooking. She asked if while cooking she could wear the light British-made cloth. Yes, you are free to cook with your milk cloth on. Gandhi had told her, but I must exercise a similar freedom by not taking the meal so prepared. The cause of cottage industry appealed to Abhay. He too was not enamored with the modern industrial advances the British had introduced in India. Not only he was simple living good for the long-term national economy of hundreds of millions of Indians, as Gandhi was emphasizing, but to Abhay, it was also the way of life most conducive to spiritual culture. Abhay put aside his manufactured cloth and took to wearing a khadi. Now his dress revealed him to whomever he met, British and Indian allies. He was a nationalist, a sympathizer of revolution. To wear khadi in India in the early 1920s was not a mere clothing fad. It was a political statement. It meant he was a Gandhian. Hare Krishna.
This chapter done. Thank you, Prabhuji. So we can
So
stop
actually,
here
Prabhuji,
today.
I just wanted to share something in this Prabhuji. You know, like we see, like Prabhuji, like Prabhupada
Sorry,
is come.
your
Yeah,
voice is low.
Oh,
Yeah.
How is it now, Prabhu?
Yeah, better.
Better, but not good.
Yeah. Best. You can go ahead.
How is it now, Prabhu?
Far away from phone, seems, huh?
Still like that only. Okay. I'll talk tomorrow, Prabhu. It's okay.
So,
Prabhuji, the second time you spoke, it was clear only, Prabhuji. You put from the previous time.
Yeah. How is it now, Mataji?
Yeah, it's perfect, Prabhuji. It's fine.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, actually, I just wanted to say one thing. I just wanted to share some things, which I've heard about these things earlier in our own movement. Like, if you see, Gandhiji was very much inclined towards, Prabhupada was very much inclined towards Gandhiji, right? During his youth and boyhood and, and the times to come now, in the future also. and it is still, the Second World War going. So it's still, 1914 to 1918 only. And after 3 years from now, he will be meeting some sadhu. And who is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Okay. Then we might have many questions. What is important, nationalism or spiritualism? All right. This will be pounding upon us many times. Do any one of you have this question? So what is the role of nationalism in bhakti? All right. How many of you have this?
I do have, Prabhuji.
Yeah, many, a lot of us will be having these questions of what is the scope of nationalism in bhakti, all right? See, actually, we speak about culture more than the nation. In the modern day, we have nation states, okay? States are, bordered by boundaries. Earlier, we have a cultural states. So that was a difference between the, historic era and the modern day. What do we have now? Nation states, okay? And earlier, what do we have? Cultural states. Okay, there was a boundaries between the culture, and they were defined. They were completely defined by natural, how to say, environmental things. Like the Chinese culture is different from us, is different from India by Himalayas. Okay, and there was always a buffer zone between these two cultures or two civilizations. How? Like Tibet, they have a different culture. They can mix in both. In the same way, the Greece and the Roman, they have a different culture by Alps. Okay, so the boundaries were the natural resources, or the nature is the boundary for them. That is how the cultures propagated earlier. But later on, what happened? It has become nation states. In the modern day, it has become nation states. That is the problem. Okay, now if some European comes and he becomes a devotee, now how can you justify his nationalism with the nationalism of Indian who is also a devotee? How many of you have these doubts? Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I have
Do
the
you
same
people
doubt.
understand my question?
Yeah,
Yeah, if there is some devotee who is, not from the culture of the Bharatavarsha, then how can you define him? Or Sanatan Dharma, then how can you, accommodate him? So actually it is said, it's not the nation that is important, but it is the culture that is important. Okay? You cannot take culture or jati from that person, no matter what. We might superficially impose some religion on him, but you cannot change him. So bhakti is beyond the body and jati. So this is the point which I wanted to make. And this is the point which actually Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati told to Prabhupada when he first met. Bhakti cannot wait for your movements and all, freedom movement and all. Okay, it should continue because it is something related to the soul, not the body. That is how Prabhupada got convinced. Yes, he has a logic. And if you see the father of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who is he? Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Okay. Now the same personality is completely pro-British if you see him. And here, the disciple of the same Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj Thakur is completely pro-Gandhi. So how can you, imbibe these two things in one thing? The answer is, see, bhakti cannot be weighted for jati, for freedom movements, for physical boundaries of the nations. Okay? Understood? Bhakti is completely beyond this body or beyond the jati. Okay? Religion is a very topmost layer, but deep inside the religion, we have a jati. Okay? No matter, what you say about the Muslim Brotherhood and all, they have 3 gates in Medina and Mecca. In Mecca, most probably. One is the Persian gate. The other one is the Arabic gate. The third one is South Asians or the others. Okay? Why did they differentiate there? Because deep inside they know, no matter they might follow today, but deep inside, they are from a different culture. That is the reason they have the 3 cultural gates there. Okay, so religion is on the topper level of the this thing, our cultural fabric. But deep inside is the culture or jati. Okay, that is the reason the differentiations has come. And nationalism can be there, okay, but that doesn't mean that you should not have bhakti. Bhakti is different and nationalism is different. Okay, depending upon your swabhava, you can be a utmost nationalist, no problem. But individually for your soul, you should do bhakti. This is how they used to go for war in the previous days. Like both the parties might be Vaishnavas, but they would be fighting. Why? Because out of their swabhava, they are Kshatriyas. They should do it. Okay? But personally, they used to come and meet in the night after 5 or 6 in the war in the evenings. Because personally, they don't have any grudges. But yes, as a duty of a Kshatriya, as an administrator, they have some differences, but that is why they are fighting. Understood or gone out of your brain, like aerodynamic design?
It was great,
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji. Yeah, Prabhuji.
Understood, no?
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Yes,
So bhakti is
Yes,
different
Prabhuji. Culture is
from,
more important than nation.
yeah, culture is important, one thing. And bhakti is different. Bhakti is very personal actually. Okay? You cannot
Prabhuji,
preach the way.
Prabhuji, is it possible for you to elaborate a little bit what would be the personal domain and what would be the public domain? Because this is what I think, that religion and culture, everything is personal, and your rules cannot abide in a public nature or maybe in public domain. And public domain should be prescribed, or maybe the public domain movement environment should be based on the law of a nation or anything. So do you have any kind of philosophy or anything as such? Because I feel like if I'm following a religion or culture, that's my personal domain. But when I'm stepping out of my house, I should follow what a nation wants me to follow or what a nation law is. So sometimes it gets mixed, and I think that's where the fanatic comes in picture, when your personal becomes public. So do you have those kind of philosophies?
Yeah. So what you wanted to ask is,
I'll go
what is
upstairs.
the boundary? What is the difference between the personal and public? Right, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji.
What should be our personal this thing on bhakti and our public this thing on bhakti, right? How should be
Yes,
our
because
demeanor and
because
how
if
should we
public
follow?
domain will not be followed, then there will be, um, I, I think people will become fanatic if they start following their personal domain into the public domain, because I think public domain, all the rules has to be same despite you have cultural differences, but in personal you can follow one culture and you can just stick to it.
Yes, Prabhuji. Like the law of the land is important, Prabhu. Only then the priest prevails. Okay. Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhuji, you're completely audible.
Yeah. The law of the land is always to be respected, Prabhu. Okay. And the second thing is, 80% of the problems with the religion is because of conversions right now. Okay. So bhakti is not related to conversion, it is related to transformation. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So law of the land should always be respected. Prabhupada always says that ISKCON people should be quite gentlemen. Okay. And he has seen some examples of the Britishers who are very gentle. So he explains in his conversations that there are many what we say, the law of the land, if it is respected, then you will be followed automatically by the people in general.
Got it.
Yeah, so the law of land should always be respected. And it doesn't mean that we should go away from our personal values. Okay, and bhakti is personal. Yes, there is no doubt in it. Okay, but when we approach to a new cultural people, the culture of the other nation, we should not induct our bhakti as a fanatic, but we should induct like what we say. This is what we follow. This is how we live.
Yeah, because this is what I think is. Please stop me if you think that I'm just deviating from the conversation. I feel like Muslims, their personal religion, it goes to those extent, or maybe it goes to some extent wherein they just stop following the land or the law order, or maybe the law of land, and they just start making it so public that it becomes fanatic. So somewhat, I miss this is little disturbing for me. I really feel like people should abide by law of land and just follow what the culture they do have personally. The moment we start imposing our culture into someone else, the deviations, and I think the fanatism will be happening more in our day-to-day basis.
Yes,
So
Prabhu, this is gonna happen, and this is how it is going to happen. And what we say, if you see Prabhuji, I can tell you one thing. You know that pukar, na? What do you say pukar in English? That
you wanna call someone?
huh?
Call pukar means call.
No. Which is wrong. It has been propagated. What is that?
Which is wrong, as in, sorry, Prabhuji.
Means it is not it is not the truth, but it is being propagated. That is what pukar. Pukar means which is not
Okay,
truth.
got it. It's it's
that can be
got it.
bought very easily in this Mesopotamian and Babylonic cultures, Prabhuji. This is what I can tell you. And whatever Arabs or whatever these Iranians and all these people, they are very prone to these pukars or to this propaganda. Yes, propaganda. Understood,
Okay.
Prabhuji?
Yes,
So they are
Prabhuji.
very prone to this actually. That is what their culture, their wars. If you see the Sumerians, what you say? There are some 6 cultures there, Prabhu, and 6 civilizations there in that same culture. So all of them, how they become the kings because of this propaganda. And if you see the modern day Islam, it also got propagated from those areas, right?
Yes.
So generally, those people, they are very prone to propaganda. So that is why you see they have some intentions behind, and that is how they do. And the Abrahamic religions, they have some, what you say, their deep intention is that to change the whole world according to their scriptures. Okay, that's
Yes.
their agenda, but it's not gonna long last, Prabhu. That's what the Jewish rabbis say, and that is the culture from where all other these religions come. So they also have, Prabhu. Let us don't discuss those things. But yes, when you see this, when the people doing all these things, sense of nonsense, just remember one thing: the culture which they have come from, or which these religions has come from, they are very prone to propaganda from the start. Okay. It took only 5 years, Prabhuji, 7 years. It took 7 years for the whole Iran to get converted from Sunni to Shia.
Yeah.
These are the statistics, Prabhuji. And it took only 8 years for Syria to get converted.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So there is also hope, always a hope, Prabhu, that they will be converted to the other religion also within very fast. But that's not going to sustain, So the Buddhists, when they come and they occupied these lands of Afghanistan and all, they converted within 8 years, within 6.5 years. So the propaganda and the change of conversion for the religion is very much in those areas, Prabhu. So that is the reason why those things are happening now, and they might go to it will take its own course according to the Kali Yuga, Prabhu. We don't want to discuss them, but personally, we should live while we leave this body, we should remember Krishna. That should be our goal. That's why we are here together. Okay. Today it's 8:48. Hare Krishna. Very good. Okay. Sorry. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. So bhakti is different and nation or nationalism will be different. Okay. There should be a boundary between those two, and we should respect those boundaries.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Giriraj Prabhu, what will we do, Prabhu? Yeah, shall we practice that shlokas, Prabhu?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to request the devotees, what did we do? What do we do now? Hare Krishna.
We will recite Prabhuji shlokas. All the
Yeah.
shlokas.
How shall we go in that? Should I recite it once?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Are you people ready to it, or it will take some more time? Should I recite 1 or 2 days? Then you will come to recite. How will you people be
Which
comfortable?
one, Prabhuji?
This whole Kunti prayers. Should I recite this one day or one more day?
We can do that, Prabhuji.
Or will you start reciting?
Yeah, we have recited earlier also, no, Prabhuji? 12.
Yeah, 12, only 12, the other 13. So I will go in one shot, all the prayers. Okay.
Okay.
Then requesting one by one to recite the same. Giriraj Prabhu, could you consolidate all the shlokas in one, Prabhu?
It needs some time, Prabhu, 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
Prabhuji, is it possible to record? Because in between I missed 1 or 2 slokas, Prabhuji. I couldn't attend.
Yeah, the recording should be, I will be personal, Mataji. Please don't notice.
Okay, Prabhuji, today I'll practice. If I feel difficult in any
Yeah.
sloka, I'll let you know, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Giriraj Prabhu, if this is recording, it will be in any of these public domains like YouTube and all.
Sorry, Prabhu.
Yeah, the lectures which we are doing or the classes which we are doing, the study group, is it in the YouTube and all, Prabhu? No.
We have to do, Prabhu. I mean, I don't think so.
No, Prabhu, don't keep it up. My request is not to keep. Let it be like personal only. Not in the public domain, please. So, how many of you could at least practice this Kunti Maharani shlokas? Did anyone of you practice it?
Prabhuji, I did, Prabhuji.
Okay, and anyone else? See, actually, down the line, whenever you go to Bhagavatam classes, these are the shlokas which you will get repeatedly get to hear, because many devotees use these shlokas. Okay, so I'm not telling you to by heart, but just understand the meaning. The moment anyone just recites this shloka, you should come to know, yes, this is in this. That's it. Okay, because if you by heart now, you will be depressed later, because you will forget. That's what I guarantee. Because of our lifestyles. So generally what I tell, just recite this. No need to by heart it, but recite. Recite in such a way that anyone who speaks this shloka, you will just come to know, should just come to know the meaning of it and where is it. which part of the shloka, which part of the prayers they are. So anyone has any doubts on
Prabhuji, we had by hearted the meanings for the exam, Prabhuji. All the
shlokas?
Yes, Prabhuji.
All Kunti shlokas?
Ante, like it was not like the full translation meaning.
Yeah,
But
the
what
meaning
is
should
the
come.
context?
Yeah.
What is the
No, that is
context
how we
అనేది
can understand the shlokas, Mataji. That will be
Yeah.
very easy.
That flow chart ఏది చూపించారు కదా అప్పుడు
Yeah.
ప్రభుజీ ఆ flow chart we had to butify అన్నమాట because we had to write the flow chart.
Arre baap re baap.
So from 18 to 43 we did
Okay.
for the exam. But in terms of shloka, because we did not practice the shlokas, whatever we are doing here only, dan batti we were at least able to recollect ki what comes first, like obeisances comes first, and then that glorifying the Lord, and then talking about the causes of birth, matlab what is people's opinion on birth, itlaga.
Yeah, opinions, yes.
Itla anni we had to butify.
Okay.
Nice word. Butify kijay. And Deepa Mata can give that flow chart class if we want, guys.
No, Prabhuji, చూడండి already నేను second category అవన్నీ మర్చిపోయాను అప్పుడే. See, I could tell what is the first category, that it is glorifying the Lord, but what is the second category? I have already forgotten what is it. This one, heading. I am fortunate. And she says, Devaki and Vasudeva are fortunate.
Gratitude, Mataji. Then gratitude antaru. Acha, I am fortunate and
I am fortunate. I am fortunate. I am more fortunate because Krishna saved my sons, not Devaki's.
Okay. That is gratitude. అంటే మా దాంట్లో gratitude and deep gratitude ఇట్లా ఉండేది.
Then తర్వాత who can approach the Lord?
Okay.
Approach the Lord tarvata, then it was like
you should be proper. You should be proper to approach.
Akinchana Vittaya. Akinchana Gochara. And Akinchana Vittaya. And then reasons, matlab what is the real reason? Bhakti.
Yeah. Her opinion on why you appear.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
All the slokas ready. You can do.
Yes.
And
so I'll just recite once. I don't know how many mistakes might come, but please accept those mistakes also in a way that you should.
No, Prabhuji. To err is human.
The way I am.
To err is human. This is the statement.
Yeah. So I am.
To err is human. To accept as a superhuman.
Please accept you're all superhumans. I understand. I am convinced because you are bearing me already. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 8th chapter, 18th shloka, the start of Kunti Maharani's prayers to convince Krishna not to go, to stay for some more time. Kunti Uvacha, Namasye Purusham Padyam, Ishwaram Prakrite Param, Alaksham Sarva Bhutanam, Antarbahirah Sthitam, Maya Javanikachannam, Ajnadokshajamavyayam, Nalakshyase Modhadrisha, Nato Natyadharo Yata, Tata Paramahamsanam, Muninam Amalatmanam, Bhakti Yoga Vidhanartham, Tatam Pashyema Histriyaha, Krishnaya Vasudevaya, Devaki Nandanaya cha, Nanda Gopakumaraya, Govindaya Namo Namah Pankajanabhaya, Namah Pankajamaline, Namah Pankajanetraya, Namaste Pankajandhyaye, Yatha Rishikesha Khalena Devaki, Kamsena Ruddhati Chiram Sucharpita, Vimochitaham cha sahatmaja vibho, Tvayaiva natena muhur vipaddanat, Vishan Mahavni Purushada Darshanat, Asat Sabhaya Vanavasha Kritikaha, मृधे मृधेनेकमहारथास्त्रतो द्रौण्यस्त्रतश्चास्म हरेभिरक्षिताः विपदः सन्तुता शश्वत् तत्र तत्र जगद्गुरु भवतो दर्शनं यत् स्यात् अपुनर्भव दर्शनम् जन्मैश्वर्यश्रुतश्रीभिरिदमानामधः पुमान् नैवार्हत्य विधातुं वै त्वामकिञ्चन गोचरम् नमो किञ्चन वित्ताय निवृत्ता गुणवृत्तये आत्मा रामाय शान्ताय कैवल्यापतये नमः मन्ये त्वां कालमीशानाम् अनादिनिधनं विभुम् समं चरन्तं सर्वत्र भूतानां यन्मितः कलिः न वेद कश्चित् भगवंश्चिकीर्षितं तवेहमानस्य नृणां विडम्बनं न यस्य कश्चित् दयितोऽस्ति कर्हि चेत् द्वेषश्च यस्मिन् विषमा मतिर्नृणाम् प्रभु can you change the slide yes जन्म कर्म च विश्वात्मन् अजस्याकर्तुरात्मनः तीर्यन् ऋषिषु याधस्सु तदत्यन्ता विडम्बनम् गोप्या ददे त्वयि कृतागसिदाम तावत् या ते दशाश्रुकलिलाञ्जनसम्भ्रमाक्षम् वक्त्रं निनीय भयभावनया स्थितस्य सा मां विमोहयति धीरपि यत् पिबेति केचिदाहुरजं जातं पुण्यश्लोकस्य कीर्तये यधो प्रियस्यान् भवाये मलयस्यैव चन्दनम् अपरे वसुदेवस्य देवक्यां याचितोऽभ्यगात् अजस्त्वमस्य क्षेमाय वधाय च सुरद्विषाम् भारावतारनायान्ये भुवो नाव इवो ददौ सीदन्त्य भूरिभारेण जातो ह्यात्मा भुवार्तितः भवेस्मिन् क्लिश्यमानानाम् अविद्या कामकर्मभिः श्रवणस्मरणार्थानि करिष्यन्निति केचन शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्त्यभीक्ष्णशः स्मरन्ति नन्दन्ति तवेहितं जना तयैव पश्यन्त्यचिरेण तावकं भवप्रवाहो परमं पदाम्बुजम् अप्यद्यनस्त्वं स्वकृते हितप्रभु जिहाससि स्वेत् सुहृदोऽनुजीविनः येषां न चान्यद्भवतः पदाम्बुजात् परायणं राजसुयोधितामहसाम् केवयं नाम रूपाभ्यं यदुभिः सह पाण्डवः भवतो दर्शनं यर्हि ऋषिकानामिवेशितुः नेयं शोभिष्यते तत्र यथेदानीं गदाधरः त्वत्पदैरङ्किता भाति स्वलक्षणा विलक्षितैः इमे जनपदा स्वृद्धा सुपक्वौषधिविरुदः वनाद्रिनद्युदन्वन्तो येदन्ते तव वीक्षितैः अथ विश्वेश विश्वात्मन् विश्वमूर्ते स्वकेषु मे स्नेहपाशम् इमं छिन्दी दृढं पाण्डुषु वृष्णिषु त्वयि मेऽन्यविषया मतिर्मधुपते सकृत् रथिम् उद्वहता दग्धा गङ्गे पौढम् उदन्वति श्रीकृष्ण कृष्ण सकवृष्णिऋषभावनीदृ राजन्यवंशदहनानपवर्गवीर्य गोविंद गोद्विज सुरार्ति हरावतार योगेश्वराखिल गुरु भगवन् नमस्ते। थैंक यू सो मच प्रभु जी माताजी।
जय जय
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम राम।
5.5 minutes Prabhuji. I just took the stopwatch. Jai.
कितना मिनट्स लगेगा प्रभु जी?
5.5 minutes.
Okay.
So this good meditation. So let us. So this is what Deepa Mata is talking about. Deepa Mata ji ki jai. Now you can explain tomorrow, okay, Mata ji? Anybody likes to recite all the prayers? 6 minutes. Let us spend 6 minutes. Then we can wrap up. Tomorrow let us practice. Every devotee get a chance to recite all the Kunti Maharani prayers. Since last 2 months we are learning. Okay? Yeah.
Okay, please don't, Prabhuji, just one minute. I want to share something. Okay. If you don't get to recite it properly, still recite. Okay. Still recite. And I am sure that this, you cannot do it with one shot. It will take a lot of time to, do Kunti Maharani's prayers at least, because they are of different tunes and they are of different meters, and it will change. The meter gets changed. after every 2 or 3 shlokas. So it will take some time. Please do it for doing sake. Okay. We don't want to perfect it, but we want to do the process. That's it. Okay. Please.
Yeah. Yeah, same. Please. Nobody perfect in this material world, okay? We just have to learn sincerely.
Raji, Samrita Mataji practice చేశారు కాబట్టి we'll let her do first.
Yeah. Chant Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Kunti Uvacha. Namasye Purusham Tvadyam Ishwaram Prakrite Param Alaksham Sarva Bhutanam Antarbahiravastitam Maya Javanikachannam Agnadokshajamavyayam Nalakshase Mudadrisha Nato Natyadharo Yatha Tata Paramahamsanam Muninam Amalatmanam Bhakti Yoga Vidhanartham Katam Pashyemahi Striyaha Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namah Pankajanabhaya Namah Pankajamaline Namah Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangraye Yata Hrishikesh Devaki Kamsena Ruddhati Chiram Sucharpita Vimochitaham cha sahatmaja vibho Tvayeva natena muhurvipatkanat Vishan Mahagne Purushada Darshanat Asasabhaya Vanavasa Krishradha Mrude Mrudeneka Maharadashrato Draunyastratascha Hare Bhirakshitaha Vipada Santuta Shashvat Tatra Tatra Jagadguru Bhavato Darshanam Yat Syat Apunarbhava Darshanam Janmaishwarya Shruta Shribhir Edhamana Madah Puman Naivarhatya Bidhatum Vai Tvama Kinchana Gocharam Namo Kinchana Vittaya Nivritta Gunavrittaye Atma Ramaya Shantaya Kaivalya Pataye Namaha Manyet Pam Kalamishana Anadhinidhanam Vibhum Samam Charantam Sarvatra Bhutanam Yanmitah Kalihi Naveda Kaschid Bhagavam Shikirshitam Taveha Manasya Nrunam Vidambanam Nayasya Kaschid Daitosti Karhichit Dveshascha yasmin vishama matirnrunam Janma karma cha vishvatman ajasya karturatmanaha Tiryan rushishu yadasu tadatyanta vidambanam Gopya dadetvai krita gasidhama tavat Yate dashashu kalilan janasambраmaksham Vatram niniya bhaya bhava nayasti tasya samam vimohayati bhirapiyad bibeti Kechit ahurajam jatam punya shlokasya kirtaye yado priyasyan vaye malayasyeva chandanam apare vasudevasya devakyam yachito bhyagat ajastvamasya kshemaya vadayascha suradvisham bharavataranayanye bhuvo navaivo dadau sidantya bhuri bharena jato hyatma bhuvartitaha Bhavesmin klishyamanana avidya kama karmabhihi shravanasmaranarhani karishyaniti kechana Shunvanti gayanti grunantya bhikshnashaha smaranti nandanti tavehitam jana taeva pashyantya chirena tavakam bhava pravaho paramam padambujam Apyadyanastvam svakrite hitaprabho jihasasi svi suhrudo nujivinaha yesham na chanyad bhavatah padambujat परायणं राजसुयोजितां हासम् केवयं नाम रूपाभ्यां यदुभिः सह पाण्डवा भवतो दर्शनं यर्हि ऋषिकानामिवेशितुः नेयं शोभिष्यते तत्र यतेदानीं गदाधरा त्वत्पदैरङ्किता भाति स्वलक्षणा विलक्षितैः इमे जनापदा स्मृद्धा सुपक्वौषधिविरुदः वनाद्रिनाजुदन्वन्तो हेदन्ते तव वीक्षितैः अता विश्वेश विश्वात्मन् विश्वमूर्ते स्वकेषु मे स्नेहपाशम् इमं चिन्ति दृढं पाण्डुषु वृष्णीषु त्वयि मे नन्यविषया मतिर्मधुपतेश्कृत् रतिम् उद्वहतात् अद्धा गंगे वौघम् उदन्वती श्रीकृष्ण कृष्ण सख वृष्णिरुषभावनिदृक् राजन्यवंशदहना नपवर्गवीर्या गोविन्द गोद्विज सुहार्ति हरावतारा योगेश्वर अखिल गुरो भगवन् नमस्ते हरे कृष्ण
Thank you.
Super.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Haribol
Thank you so
Mataji.
much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
So, Sloka Master, Yara Miru. Okay.
Wonderful recitation, Mataji. Haribol.
Now moving forward, SM dot Samyukta Mataji. Haribol. SM is Sloka Master. Haribol. Thank you very much, Mataji. Just really. So tomorrow onwards, 3 devotees, 18 minutes, 6 minutes, just assume 6, 18 minutes. So let us complete maybe this week. Today is Tuesday in India, right? Okay. This way we can complete all the sloka recitation. Maybe next week we will start with new prayers. Maybe the Mangalacharana prayers. We'll see.
Prabhuji, we will start Mangalacharan prayers and then all else we will repeat all the.
So అన్ని ఫైల్స్ అనేది తీయాలి. Yes.
Yeah, ఒకసారి పురావస్తు మొత్తం అంతా లేస్తే ఎదరికెళ్ళి అసలు. Because I am guaranteed, Prabhu, I guarantee that అదేంటది బ్రహ్మ సంహిత మర్చిపోయి ఉంటారు సగం పైన. నిజం ప్రభు, అది జనరల్ గా రీసెర్చ్ చేసే వాళ్ళకి అవుతుంది. సో ఐ జస్ట్ వాంటెడ్ టు మేక్ దట్ అగైన్ రిసైడ్.
ఎస్ ఎస్, ఆ బ్రహ్మ సంహితం అన్ని శ్లోకాలు పీన్ కుంతి మహారాణి ధ్రువ మహారాజ్, అదే మన ఏంటది యాంకర్ శ్లోకాస్, తర్వాత భక్తి శాస్త్రి మన శ్లోకాస్ అంతా అయిపోయినాక లాస్ట్ లో చేద్దాం ప్రభు. ఆ లాస్ట్ 1 week డెడికేట్ చేద్దాం. ఒక 1 week 30 ఇది బ్రహ్మ సంహితం ప్రేయర్స్. కొంచెం టైం రీడింగ్ టైం.
సో ఆఫ్టర్ దిస్ ఇన్వొకేషన్ ప్రేయర్స్ చదువుదాం ప్రభుజీ. అది ఇంపార్టెంట్ ప్రభు, చాలా మందికి తెలియదు. బట్ we should start doing that because చాలా మంది appearance disappearances వస్తాయి. So at least we should recite that 5 or 10 minutes on the day.
Yes,
it is good for us actually.
We will do that next week onwards.
Okay.
Tomorrow
that is a
onwards,
gratitude we can give to our
Guru
acharyas.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do Prabhu. So this week all the devotees, 3 devotees complete the complete verses. Total how many Prabhu? How many verses? Let me count quickly. I think just a second. 1 2 3 4 8
25 verses.
12 13 14 and 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 verses. Total 26 verses of Kunti Maharani prayers. All the devotees, please enthusiastically participate in the sloka recitation tomorrow onwards. Thank you so much for the opportunity again. Thank you so much for your association. Okay, thank you again. Samyukta Mataji, Sandhya Mataji, Deepa Mataji, Akanjan Priya Prabhu, Ravanya, Radhika Mataji, Lakshmi Prabhu, Chandraval Prabhu, Sapan Prabhu. Thank you so much. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada translated book reading ki jai. Sloka recitation ki jai. Srimati Kunti Maharani ki jai. Nitai Gaur Hari Premanande. Hari Hari. Thank you so much. See you all tomorrow.